Hi guys, welcome back to Star of Substance. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the one thing that you can do to ultimately be more successful. And you're really going to notice a difference in terms of how you are achieving your goals if you implement this one technique in your life. So, if you want to find out what that is, please keep watching. So, I've been reading quite a lot of books of late, one of which is The Compound Effect. Now this is by Darren Hardy and it's essentially all about how if you implement small habits in your daily life, the compound effect of those habits over time is basically going to be huge. So if you change one small thing, whether that's your diet or daily routine, the big impact that it can have on your life years down the line, and also the impact the other way, that if you pick up really bad habits, ultimately in a few years' time, you're really going to see the effect of these in your life. And what the compound effect really brought home for me as far as success goes is, one, everybody has a totally different definition of what success is to them. And I think it's absolutely fine to define success for you in a totally different way to somebody else. But that two, the one thing that ultimately impacts how successful you're going to be is your routine. Your daily routine, the things that you are doing on a regular basis that you might not see to be having an impact on your trajectory in life, but that will eventually change the course of your life completely. Now, routine is something that I haven't necessarily always seen the importance of. I've always kind of had a vague routine, but I've never really been into planning out my days, as it were. And I've come to realize that planning out your day is so important as far as achieving everything that you want to achieve. Now, at the beginning of the year, you guys know I bought a new planner. I bought the Louis Vuitton Monogram Agenda, and I made a vow to myself that I would start to really take control of my schedule and plan out my days a lot more. And when I read that book, I really did start to see the use of having a planner. So, as far as routine goes, I think your daily routine can really impact where you end up in life, because it's the one thing that you can use to implement positive habits and activities that are ultimately going to put you on the path to success. And I think that there are loads of different approaches you can take to a routine, but there are certain elements that really make a routine effective and put you on the path to success. And I'm going to go through those with you guys today. So the first element of a successful routine, and how I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to spell out the word routine for you, so it's really easy to remember. So the first element of a really successful routine begins with R, and it is reading. I try to read a chapter of a really motivational or inspirational book every day. Easy as that might sound, it actually gets quite difficult if you don't work it into your plan for the day. I have been trying to read a book a week since the start of the year, and so far it's taken me like 3 weeks to get through 2 books. Actually no, we're in February now, so about a month to get through 2 books. So getting there, it's doable, but you really have to commit to it. But the reason why I think reading is so important is because we live in a world where we're so distracted by our phones, what's going on TV, you know, the people we're around, things that come into our day that totally change up what we're supposed to be doing. But I think if you can commit to reading a really good book every day, it totally changes your outlook on life. And I think once you get into a really good book, you'll agree that it's quite hard to put it down. And you really immerse yourself into something that's hopefully quite positive and quite instructional, and that's going to add some value into your life. I mean, I think we can all find inspiration from many different places, and I'm not saying that books are the only way to find your inspiration, but I think that there's something that reading does to your mind that is really good for it. You know, it forces it to process words on a page, think about things. I always find that if I'm reading a really good book, I will often drift off course and start thinking about loads of ideas totally unrelated to the book, maybe related to ideas for videos that I want to film. And it just gets my mind thinking like in a totally different way, in a really great way. So I think it's a good exercise for the brain, but also you can pick up a lot of really useful life skills and positive attitudes and habits from reading a good book. The Compound Effect is what I'm reading now, and I absolutely recommend it. I'm going to link it in the description box below. I think it's really what taught me how important routine is in terms of achieving your goals. The second element of a good routine is your occupation. So what are you doing on a daily basis to get you closer to your goals? Now, for a lot of us, me in particular, my occupation, i.e. my day job, isn't necessarily linked to what my passion is. Yes, my passion is marketing, and marketing does come into YouTube and what I do here on my channel, but in terms of the daily activities that I'm doing at work, not so closely linked. But I think your occupation takes up a very big part of your daily routine. So ideally you want to make it something that you at least enjoy doing. And if you don't enjoy doing, do remember that it's taking you away from what you do enjoy doing and what you're really passionate about for a good 8 hours of your day if you work full time. So that's a really powerful chunk of time in which, if you're doing something you have no enjoyment for, could be really damaging. So I'm not saying go out and quit your job, but I'm just saying that use your time at work wisely, and use your lunch breaks, and use, you know, your journey to work or your commute back from work as an opportunity to sow into your passion and to really get to grips with what it is you're working towards. So if your job isn't your passion, then use that time or the breaks in between that time to really find what is your passion. If anything, it's a good practice for being disciplined enough to do something day in and day out. The next letter of the word routine, as you know, is U. It's all about being up early. So I've been trialing this thing where I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, which is crazy because if you know me, you know I love to sleep and I love a good line. But I found that I was always waking up and getting ready just in time to go to work, and I'm straight into thinking about work and not thinking about my passions outside of work. And I follow this Instagram account called Before 5 a.m. And the whole ethos around the account is if you wake up before 5 a.m, it gives you enough time to start the day by really sewing into what you're passionate about and starting the day working on whatever your passion project is. So for me, it's YouTube. So I wake up at 5 a.m, I get dressed and ready and have breakfast and do all the things I would normally do, but I start the day out working on my YouTube channel. So whether that's editing a video, scheduling a video, uploading a video, promoting it on my social media accounts, I start the day thinking about my passion, and that's where my mind is right at the beginning of the day. Because I think the first few hours of every day is the best time for your brain to really do its best thinking. For me personally, everybody's brain works differently. Some people prefer the evenings and they find themselves to be more effective then. I'm more of a morning person, despite the fact that I don't really like waking up early in the morning. But what I found is that incorporating a 5 a.m. start into my routine has made me so much more productive, both in my YouTube work, but also my day job. And I found that my brain is thinking differently and I'm thinking really smart. I'm coming to work with better ideas and more effective ways of doing things. And I'm really focusing and prioritizing on the things that are going to really have the most impact, both in my personal life and in my career. So getting up early has been a game changer for me. Now, I think it's something you need to ease yourself into. So the first time I did it, I woke up at 5:30. The second time I woke up at 5 a.m. for 2 days in a row. And then the following day I woke up at 4:30 a.m. And I actually find that it's a lot easier to wake up before 6 a.m, which is weird. Like if I wake up at any time between 6 to 7, I find it really hard to get out of bed. But at 5 a.m, I spring out of bed. This is something really weird, but I've really been enjoying it. So it just means getting to bed earlier, getting up earlier, and having more productive use of your brain throughout the day. So that is a really key one. Next letter in the word routine is T, and T stands for tracking. So tracking behaviours that you want to improve. Now, I learned about this also in the compound effect, and I would say tracking is really effective for things that you want to cut back on. So for me, it's spending unnecessarily and what I'm eating for lunch, because I'm trying to eat healthier and also just maintain the current weight that I'm at the moment. So what I've been tracking is what I'm spending my money on a daily basis and what I'm eating for lunch, because lunch is the meal that I would say I have the most control over, because it's only me that I have to think about really. So by tracking, I just have a page in my agenda where I write down every day what I've spent my money on and what I've eaten for lunch. So 2 separate pages. And if I spend money, I have to write it down. And I think that is the key thing. Like if you have spent your money on something that's not really that important, you realise you have to write it down, it really does discourage you from doing it, because then you know that at the end of that month you're going to have to go through and see all these things that you've spent money on. You're going to look down that list, you're going to see McDonald's, you're going to see kebabs, takeaways. It's always food for me, funny enough. So the two work quite well hand in hand. So I found that I'm spending a lot less, or if I am spending, I'm really thinking about what I'm about to spend my money on and not just impulse buying, which I do quite a bit. And then with lunch, I just write down everything I eat for lunch. So when I started this, I was like, right, I'm going to stick to a smoothie. So I quite like the Naked smoothies, the Green Machine, and a spinach and hummus salad that I get from the canteen at work. And if I have that, I feel like I can really, well, one, I can eat my lunch really quickly because it doesn't take long, and two, I don't feel so like lethargic and, you know, sleepy and tired after lunchtime, and I can really get some good work in the afternoon. So I've been doing that, and I've been quite regimented with it, quite disciplined. But on a Friday, what I'll do is I'll give myself like a cheat day, and I'll have like a really nice sandwich or something, or like a hot meal if they're doing that in the canteen. But it's important to me that I at least try and keep that up during the week, at least Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends I get to eat what I want. And with spending, it's just really about thinking about something before I spend money on it. So tracking is key. If you have something that you know you're not very good at, or a bad habit, tracking it will really help you get an understanding of what mindset you're in when you're doing that, who you're with when you're doing that, what your triggers are essentially. So that's really helped. The next letter in the word routine is I, and I associate I with innovation. So what are you doing new to inject freshness into your routine? Now, the word routine in itself to most people kind of sounds a bit boring and it sounds a bit unspontaneous, but I think it's important to be in a routine and to get yourself into a rhythm so that the things that you need to do to progress yourself just become second nature to you, and you don't have to put so much effort and energy into doing those every day. It just needs to become natural for you. But at the same time, a routine can get stale if you're not adding new things to it. So you need to be innovative, and you need to inject fresh things into your routine and perfecting those every now and again. So for me, the fresh thing that I injected into my routine was waking up a lot earlier, and that's really shocked my system and helped me to adjust to having a lot more hours in the day to do what I want. But also it's helped me to go to bed a lot earlier as well because I wake up really tired in the morning if I'm getting up at 5 and I've only gone to bed at midnight. So injecting new things into your routine also makes it really effective, and it means that you don't get so used to the same old stuff, because after a while of doing the same thing, it just gets a bit boring and it becomes a lot less effective. So innovation. The next letter in the word routine is N, and that is the necessities. So as much as you're going to build in loads of stuff that are going to build you and help you progress and grow and learn, you want to put in this time with friends and family, and, you know, time to eat and rest, like all the things that you need in life. I would always say to build in time for family and friends, because you'll be surprised at how busy we can get caught up in our work lives or, you know, our social lives, that we don't actually put in time for the things that really matter. So, you know, make sure that you incorporate in your routine time to get 7 to 8 hours sleep a night. Make sure you put in time to spend with your partner or your siblings or your parents or your best friend. You know, you need to schedule that in, because as sad as it sounds, the older you get, the less time you have for loads of people in your life. So the people who are really important to you, get them into your routine. Eating is a necessity. You need to schedule that into your routine as well. But if you're like me, that's never a problem. So necessities, don't forget the necessities from your routine. And then the final letter is E, and that is eating healthy and exercise. Now I've kind of covered that off in the tracking section, but if you're not tracking, you know, that, then it's something you do need to incorporate. And I think all successful people have an element of exercise that they incorporate into their daily routine, whether that is yoga or walking everywhere or running or jogging or going to the gym or eating healthily. Whatever it is, just make sure there's an element of treating your body right and making sure that it gets the nourishment that it needs, but also that you're active. I find that when I am more active, I'm less, you know, groggy, less slow. If I'm moving at a faster pace, my brain is also moving at a faster pace. And, you know, getting your blood pumping and your heart rate going is getting that oxygen, you know, through your brain, around your body, and you're operating at an optimum level, which means that your brain is also operating at an optimum level. So it's important to eat healthy, and it's also important to exercise when you can. And exercise doesn't mean go out and sign up for a really expensive gym membership. It could be as simple as deciding to take the stairs everywhere in the office instead of getting in the lift. Or it could be as simple as walking to the station instead of getting a lift to the station. Lots of different things you can incorporate into your daily routine that just make you that little bit more active. And that is it. Those are the elements of an effective routine. And I think with an effective routine, you will ultimately be more successful in whatever it is you are pushing for. I didn't really understand the power of a routine until I incorporated a really rigid and structured one into my own life, and I saw the difference that it made in my work and in my videos that I was filming. So I would definitely recommend it if you are looking to change something up this year. We are in February, so if you have goals for 2017, you've only got 10 months left, basically, to really get going. And if you need something that is a push and that is a motivator, get a routine down on paper. So that's the video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I upload 3 times a week on a Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, so that could be anything from a fashion haul to a video on the law of attraction to a video about marketing. I'm sure there'll be something for you to come back and enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.